Hey guys, so I've been getting a lot of messages asking me how I've been winning with goblins. So I've decided to go back to a replay that I've done from my last match of the Reddit Newbie League, and I'm going to give you a rundown of my strategy and play-by-play and sort of how I think while I'm playing goblins. So here we go, and this is going to be the second half. So obviously I'm up against Skaven.
Today's insight comes from Jaime Schnivel, coach and owner of the Goblin Lowdown Rats team. In yesterday's Spike magazine, he said that Blood Bowl was like war. No winners, just survivors.
Oh, now that's deep. About as deep as his team's position in the rankings.
My opponent was a newer player, so he was taking a little while to do his moves. Normally, if I'd be going up against my setup, how I would sort of set up my defense is I drop him back to here. I drop him back to here. The gutter runners, I probably want to keep in the middle. Probably put, he's got pass. That setup's not too bad. He's protecting his gutter runners. Basically, you don't want to stand within 2 blocks of the line of scrimmage when you're kicking off, because if I catch you flat-footed and I load the line, I can move up 1 square and suddenly I can hit you. I go with a pretty simple setup. My troll's in the middle. Put my fanatic in the middle. Not sure what I'm doing.
Did you know that according to Spike magazine, the #1 all-time worst player award was Specky McGrone?
Okay, so I did
a goblin who played only one season.
Right.
Can you believe
30 fumbles in a season, averaging more than 2 per match, including a record 9 fumbles in his last match. He was finally pulled apart by the head coach.
What do you expect?
Yeah, see, I caught him flat-footed. If he was standing right here, I could have moved my goblin up, and then I could have moved a couple other goblins up and then hit him on the first turn without using a blitz. And this was stupid of me, moving my trolls up, because now I can't move my fanatic. I didn't think about that when I did it. The general idea of this setup, this offensive setup that I have, is that in case he gets a blitz, he can't get to my backfield, and I can hopefully pick up the ball with, I guess, put a loner back there. I didn't mean to do that. So, a couple mistakes already. But I could get the ball with him and then run into the center of that, and he can't be blitzed that turn. And then I can get him up with my trolls and protect him. But since I can just give the ball to someone, because it's going to be landing off the field, I move him up. I'm going to hand it to, I think I hand it to him. Or I might have realized he's a loner and given it to someone else.
I've seen some amazing stats for a young up-and-coming Skaven player. Never misses a pass, apparently.
Yeah, I watched him play, but when you've got 8 arms...
Move him out.
That's what happens when a pro crosses an amateur.
Yes, splodge.
And in this situation, I don't want to follow up with my trolls if I hit anything, because I want them to stay right next to my goblin.
You can't say much about that.
Full-blooded, but perfectly legal.
So I move the blitzer up here, because now it's even harder to dodge in for a Skaven to dodge into that cage. Even with agility 4, he needs a 6 up.
I've heard of teams that have simply disappeared after being abandoned by their supporters.
Let's say that some teams who haven't won a match for several years have been tied up by their fans and thrown into rubbish containers.
It's the only way to end a downward spiral.
And if I'm smart, I'll probably end my turn right here. Yeah, I end my turn. Oh, yes, there we go. So now for the Skaven player, it's kind of difficult because the only weak side is on the back, because he wants to try and come in right through here. But if he commits too hard, then I can just run a goblin out the center and go right down the field, and he won't be able to catch up to me. So against a light team like Skaven, this offensive setup is really, really nice with goblins. And just because they can't outstrength me. 5 strength is really hard for a 3 strength team to deal with, if they don't have guard.
This Goblin team reminds me of the 1496 Lowdown Rats. That year, they trained with a giant black war wolf.
Oh, yeah, the wolf ate 6 players and then ran away into the swamps with the only ball they
staying in
had.
front,
Some teams have no luck.
Light screen, moving players up to stand next to goblins, and then blitz a goblin. If he takes him down and doesn't knock him out or casualty him, wants to run up with someone like a lineman and then foul him and try and get him out a second time. Because if he gets all my goblins down, he has a fighting chance of actually winning. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stall and just slowly move up. And I want to kind of park right here at around turn 6 or 7. And then set myself up so on turn 8 I can just run into a score. And then he'd only have 1 turn to try and tie the game up. Makes it kind of difficult. So he's being smart. He's sort of setting up a screen. He's got a tackle zone here, but it's not a gutter runner. I wouldn't really recommend that because he's only got a 2 strength. Probably would put the lineman there and then the gutter runner and maybe hang him back a little.
The most famous Skaven player of all time? No doubt Tarsh Surehands.
He had 2 heads and 4 arms.
Oh, he was a great player, but he died during a match.
Yes, his 2 heads had a violent argument and he strangled himself to death.
Well, while he's thinking about his turn, I've only had 1 Goblin K knocked out so far. And he's got 2 badly hurt rats that happened from trolls. He's got 1 knocked out that happened from the Goblin Blitz. So he's down 3 players, whereas I'm down 1, and I had 1 extra, so I'm sitting pretty right now. You see, he was smart. He tried to get this guy, and if he went down, he would have been able to run the thrower up and foul. Though if the thrower got ejected, that kind of sucked for him too. But it might have been worth it because he would have had +2 to his armor roll against him. And with Goblins, putting more than one tackle zone on them isn't necessary because they've got stunty. So they negate all these people standing around him, so he could dodge right here and he'd just be dodging on a 3-up. He wouldn't be taking a 1, 2, 3, 3, -3 negative modifier to dodge right there. Any other team that doesn't have stunty, if they tried to dodge right here, they'd have to get a 6. Unless they had 5 agility.
Corruption is so widespread that the Referees Guild has set up rules concerning where, when, and how one can accept a bribe.
Under an agreement signed last season, clubs are not allowed to offer less than the going rate. Ouch! That punch knocked his teeth down his throat.
Yes, Jim, that's never a nice sight.
Double skulls. I blitzed with him because I was going to move my cage up right here and move my ball carrier right here, but that didn't work and I lost control. And I'm wide open on this side. He could come in right here. He could throw a block right here, and then blitz my ball carrier.
What violence!
Yes!
Yeah,
it's a great spectacle, Bob.
And the troll's going to hit him next turn.
Boom! In the face! And then followed by a clean uppercut. Well done! You remember the 2503 season, which saw the retirement of one of Blood Bowl's favorite killers? Nobler Blackwater, who after 8 great seasons finally hung up his chainsaw.
It lopped off more heads than any other chainsaw in history, including a massive 14 decapitations in one match.
You move him right back to where he was. Unless he was worried I was going to pick my goblin up and throw him, but I could just throw him over here.
Nice left punch, right on the nose.
Sure was, Jim. It's broken now.
He's gonna cut him right up. Hit right there. Oh, he messed that up. For some reason he wants to blitz with that gutter runner. And that gutter runner would have to run all the way around, then right there, and then hit him. And it'd still be a 1 dice block. So right now he's trying to think how he can get a 2 dice block on him. What he could do is
Did you hear about Helmet, Tough as Nails Wolf, the madly sadistic chainsaw swinging star?
Oh, he's still ready to hire himself out, even if it means scything lizardmen's heads whose scales, as he always complains, damage his chainsaw, all for the love of sport.
Then he could blitz around with him and knock the ball loose. But I don't think he has any other moves left to pick the ball up. Basically never blitzed the gutter runner. That's the only reason he's in this situation right now. If he had just blitzed with this guy, he'd be fine. Yeah, he's going the exact route I said. And you got defender stumbles, so it didn't help him out.
Do you know where the sewer runners get their name from? The only defeat of the All-Stars, who were winning 6-0 at halftime. While his teammates were getting pounded, a certain Quetha decided to abandon the pitch and went into the sewers below the stadium. He came up in the opposition end zone.
I remember it well. He did it 7 times to score 7 touchdowns.
I would put this rat right here, and then I would blitz with him. And then you've got, if the ball scatters this way, you've got this gutter runner to pick it up. And if it scatters that way, you've got this gutter runner to pick it up. Yeah, instead he's trying to hit my troll for some reason. So right now he's got 1 dice on him.
Did you hear about the Evil Gits? The team that is made up of the mix of evil players?
Their fans won the Most Evil Supporters of the Year award. So fully merited from what I've seen.
Oops, sorry. Turn my phone off. He's not making very good decisions. I don't know why.
Wallop! Right on the schmuzzle!
He'll have a bit of trouble blowing his nose from now on.
I don't even remember what I do in this situation. I don't know how I scored.
Did you hear about Helmet, tough as nails, Wolf? The madly sadistic chainsaw-swinging star?
Oh, he's still ready to hire himself out, even if it means scything lizardmen's heads whose scales, as he always complains, damage his chainsaw. All for the love of sport.
Yeah, him swinging these guys over here is probably what did it for him. That's probably the only reason I was able to score.
This player was really strong. Do you think they have some troll blood in them?
Could be. Or maybe his opponent shouldn't speak that way about the family.
It's kind of risky with a troll with Mighty Blow. So what I did is I dodged out to set up a screen. And I'm going to dodge him through here because it's less dodges than trying to go this way. And if you're anyone but a stunty, do not try to do this, because you will fail.
Doping is really endemic in this sport.
Isn't it written into the game rules? Nice dodge. He did him with the old, you look that way, I go the other.
That's a technical term?
It's in the handbook.
He got 3, 4, 4, and 5 my rolls. Just barely. And if he had kept these two right here, he'd have 2 blitz. He'd have an assist and a blitz on me. With this guy, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put him. But it's better to put him right here, down over here. So now what he's probably going to do, he's probably going to take this gutter runner, come around. He's got wrestle, so I'd probably try and blitz with him. Get lucky.
There was a time when the colleges of magic hadn't yet ruled on limiting wizard assistants to teams.
Who could forget the infamous 2472 Quagmire incident, when rampant spellcasting caused the entire Bright Crusaders Stadium to sink into the earth?
Nobody could forget that. People were blinded for miles around the stadium.
I probably would try and do that. Even though I don't have any rerolls. But I bring this gutter runner down around here in case I fail at going for it. That way he can recover the ball next turn. And then maybe try and just throw the ball down here. Now I don't really agree with... Okay, so there he goes. Yeah, that's what I would do, is I'd try and take out the troll. Probably would put him right here. Because he's got 2 dice on him now. I would have kept him over there. Hit the troll, knocked him down, hopefully. And then I would have used him try and foul him after I blitz.
The referees guild has decided to hire a bodyguard for each game.
Another brilliant idea. And just how effective will one bodyguard be against a stadium full of supporters?
True, could be a bit one-sided.
Just got pushed, so I guess moving him there wasn't too bad after all. But if he had knocked him down and pushed him right here and had this guy right here and then followed up, he could have moved him around and tried to break armor, knock him out, and he would have gotten 2, 4, plus 4 to his roll to break armor. That's why dodge is awesome. probably do is I'd probably take this goblin. Well, I guess I won't be smart. If I was smart, I would have blitzed with that goblin, knocked him off, and then run in. So now I have to make a dodge. Yep, either way, I have to make a dodge.
This Goblin team reminds me of the 1496 Lowdown Rats. That year, they trained with a giant black war wolf.
Oh, yeah, the wolf ate 6 players and then ran away into the swamps with the only ball they had.
Some teams have no luck.
All together now. Touchdown!
Two goblins back, I don't get my troll. He gets his rat that was knocked out back. So now I need to stop him for 3 turns. So the setup with 1 troll. So I'll probably just keep these 2 goblins close. Probably put goblin here and goblin there, goblin here and goblin there, along the sides. He should be over 1 square. So this setup basically just limits where he can go. He can only poke a hole.
You know
in one
Head Splitter?
spot.
Of course I know him.
Well, he said
If I
there's
had
going to be
more
less fun.
goblins, what
I'll
I'd
believe
probably
that
do
when
is
I
just
see it.
Yeah, he said
set
you'll
up my
finish off his
defense like I
opponents
set up
far
my
quicker.
offense.
The sport is
That
going
way,
to the
when he commits
dogs.
to a side, I've got all my goblins that can swing over and assist. And whenever I kick, I always kick to the center because it can't scatter off the board because it can go a maximum of 6 squares over. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this block is safe, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this block is the safest one. So if you kick it right there, the best you can get is right here, right here, and right here. The worst and the best you can get is right here, or worst you can get is right here with the kickoff roll.
It's amazing that the Skaven are such good runners.
It stands to reason. The slow ones get eaten in the junior leagues.
He's definitely doing the right setup right here. He's putting, I don't know about in the center. I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have just put all my rats over here. Blitz this guy. Yeah, I guess you'd have to blitz him right here. Then you can sneak players down into the backfield that way. And set up a screen, have your ball carrier right here, or your person you want to pass to right there.
3, 2, 1,
Bust up!
So first thing he wants to do is blitz with this guy right here. And he wants to come in, go 1, 2, blitz, push him right here, follow up. So so the gutter runner can get around the side. I probably would have put the gutter runner right here to the Storm Maroon's left. But it's probably going to be silly to do attacks over here first to try and weaken my front line, which he doesn't need to do. It just increases his chances of getting double skulls and ending his turn prematurely. Because at this point,
we don't see much of the Heroes of Law these days.
No, I don't know.
For any spectators who aren't aware, the Heroes of Law hope to show the world a better way by honest, strategic play on the pitch.
Pick the ball.
It's probably a good thing we don't see them.
Probably keep, what's his movement? 7, 5, 6, 7. And then I'd probably keep the ball carrier right here as you run the gutter runners up. And then next turn, run up past to him.
Now, there's one that won't be coming back in a hurry.
So you got a pretty good blitz there.
Fortunately for that player, Midson has come on leaps and bounds since your days, Bob.
I hope so, Jim. Yes, I hope so.
Does he? No.
The Blood Bowl annals are littered with the stories of teams who've gone bust with crippling debts.
And with the cost of doping and bribery on the rise, the problem won't be going away.
Go around him. It's not bad putting him right there. So now he's probably going to run this guy as far to the left as he can. Which isn't the best thing to do either, because if he gets an inaccurate pass, he wants to be at least 3 squares from the sideline. He's only 1, so he's got a fairly decent chance if he throws an inaccurate pass for it to go out of bounds.
He's got the ball!
So now I drop him back a little bit. Yep, there he is. That's what my opponent's thinking. That's good. So it's my turn. So basically what I need to do now is get tackle zones on these 2 gut runners, because that's who he's going to be passing to. Well, messed that up. I did exactly what I said you shouldn't do. See, I shouldn't have been worrying about that. I should have been, I guess, dodging out.
Wizards have not always been able to cast spells safely from behind the sidelines. Were you playing at the time in an Albion League, a second division that prohibited spellcasting from off the pitch?
Oh, yes. They were great times. I remember fans traveling to games just to see how well Wizards stood up to the mad charge of a raving Blood Bowl star. The noise created by a sizzling fireball, followed by the characteristic sound of the snapping of a wizard's neck.
Now, before I throw the pass, he's no longer in a tackle zone. He's got a pretty good movement. I probably move him right there and move him down here so that no matter which way I came in, I'd have to go through tackle zones and make dodge rolls, possibly fail, in case he fails his pass. Oh, no. Still not good. He did it so he can get 2 dice on this goblin with his gutter runner. But that could result in 2 skulls, or both down, and he'd have to end his turn, and then he'd have even less time to score.
Did you know that according to Spike magazine, the #1 all-time worst player award was Specky McGrone?
Who?
A goblin who played only one season.
Can you believe it?
30 fumbles in a season, averaging more than 2 per match, including a record 9 fumbles in his last match. He was finally pulled apart by the head coach.
What do you expect?
That's a safer block.
I bet that hurt. Good job his nose got in the way.
Yeah, otherwise he'd have got it full in the face.
So my guess is he's probably going to throw now. Should have stood that guy up before he threw the blocks. So he's probably going to throw this block now. If that makes sense. In that instance, he probably wanted to follow up. Because my troll wouldn't be able to get there. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can't get there at all.
You remember the 2503 season, which saw the retirement of one of Blood Bowl's favorite killers? Nobler Blackwater, who after 8 great seasons finally hung up his chainsaw.
It lopped off more heads than any other chainsaw in history, including a massive 14 decapitations in one match.
No delay.
It seems this player has a few problems getting the brain to communicate with the arm.
What brain are you talking about, Bob?
Right.
So now I need to get him off the ball. So I'm going to stand him up. Move him probably around right here. And then block with him. And then so move him around. So I got 3 on him. That was an odd choice.
What finesse, what style, what perfection.
What a hammer blow!
Just look at the fans. They're red hot. A majority of supporters reckon that the league should take measures to prevent the small minority of peaceful fans from watching a match from the terraces.
They've got a point. If they don't want to join in the fun, they might as well stay home and watch it on cable
I'm
vision.
going to pick it up with Beethoven.
Good hand skills. The ball is caught.
Oh, sorry. So I'm going to run down here, and I'm going to try and throw the ball into his backfield, just to get it away from him. Because his gutter runners are both over here, and his thrower can't reach over here. So I make. Do I get going for it? Or just make a pass?
Disappointing. They aim the ball in one direction, but look in completely the opposite direction.
Back in range of his thrower. So what he wants to do is he wants to run his thrower over as close as he can get it. Probably wants to I guess run one gutter runner. Maybe keep his gutter runners right where they are. See if he can set up a screen so that I can't get my goblins to him.
Did you know that according to Spike magazine, the #1 all-time worst player award was Specky McGrone?
Who?
A goblin who played only 1 season.
Can you believe it?
30 fumbles in a season, averaging more than 2 per match, including a record 9 fumbles in his last match.
Right here.
He was finally pulled apart by the head coach.
What do you expect?
And I'd put him right there, because then I'd have to take my goblins and either dodge through his cage to get to him, or go around, and I'd have to be making going for it rolls. If I could get there at all. And this goblin's fine. I probably wouldn't put anyone on him. Maybe move him up to right here. Be more tackles in to dodge through. That was kind of lucky. So that's a bad dodge to make to go right there, because to dodge to get to right there, he's got 1, 2, 3 goblins.
If he hit him any harder, he'd have punched him straight into the infirmary.
Don't worry, that's where he'll be waking up.
Yes,
you remember the 2503 season, which saw the retirement of one of Blood Bowl's favorite killers, Nobler Blackwater, who after 8 great seasons finally hung up his chainsaw.
It lopped off more heads than any other chainsaw in history, including a massive 14 decapitations in 1 match.
So I was able.
The player has got the ball, and now he's the main target.
He's got no one that can blitz. Well, I guess he's got him who could blitz, him who could pick up the ball, throw a long bomb. Maybe to this gutter runner, but probably to that lineman. He probably won't catch it, or he's going to be knocked down.
As soon as he throws his first punch.
We know the opponent will be out for lunch.
This guy would have to roll 6 in order to pick it up. I hope you guys can see my mouse, otherwise I'm probably not making sense right now.
That's what happens when a pro crosses an amateur.
Yes, splodge.
Yep, so now I don't think he has anyone who can get the ball. 1, 2, 6, 7. So he can get the ball if he's able to dodge out, blitz this goblin. The ball's scatters. No, he.
Look over there. Some cute little elf beauties are selling big moot sandwiches in the stand.
Hey, I'm off to get one. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
And so now you like big moot sandwiches?
No way. A little elf beauty, yeah.
These 3 squares, because then he could dodge out the thrower, pick up the ball, but I don't know if he'd be able to reach the lineman. If he did and the lineman was able to catch it, he could do a handoff to the gutter runner and score. And he has no reroll, so that's game. Well, that's sort of how I play goblins. It wasn't a very good representation I had a little bit of bad luck. I wasn't playing very well. I think I was on the phone during this match, so I wasn't really paying attention. I also didn't get the normal inducements that I get. I just went with a bunch of bribes. And then found out the Skaven player was
Blood Bowl
fairly
is
new,
reputedly
so
the toughest of all sports.
So they say, but it really only comes down to taking a few hits.
Just getting into Blood Bowl. But my normal strategy, I have 3 trolls, and then I have my fanatic, and I just make a cage and slowly march down the field. Anytime I knock anyone down, I try and get at least 2 assists on them, and then foul them. And I just start taking their players out of the game, and they can't deal with my strength. That's how I normally win games. My first matchup was against dwarves, so I didn't do any fouling because the chances of me breaking their armor was really slim. Better just to keep my goblins on the field. I don't know what's going on. I think he's trying to figure out if he's got anything he can do, but he doesn't. If he had hit this goblin over instead of over there, he could have hit him again and then dodged his thrower and made the pass, but he didn't do that, so he doesn't have any options. So the game's over. I think we were just chatting a little bit and saying good game. For my next video, if you guys have any suggestions or want me to go over anything, if you want me to talk about how tackle zones work, how dodge rolls
I've heard
work,
of teams that have
passing
simply
rolls
disappeared
work,
after
or
being abandoned
any
by
rolls
the
or all the
supporters.
rolls.
Let's say that some
Just let me
teams
know.
who
I can
haven't
do
won a
that,
match
no
for several
problem.
years have been tied up by their fans and thrown into rubbish containers.
It's
Just
the only way to
general
end a
gist,
downward
people wanted to
spiral.
know how I was playing goblins.
So close. They must really be
All right, well,
disappointed.
Maybe
made
we
it
could
this far.
convince
Thanks
the
for
ref to
watching.
play a third half.